Ooh, there is a tenderness in my heart today. There is so much going on in our world. I know you all feel it. I know social media is just kind of this pit of despair. And I can imagine that there are tons of people crying out to the Father with a list of things high to the sky, of needs, of fears, of words they're needing from God. And He loves to hear from us regardless of what we're saying. But in the midst of all this anxiety, I just want to be so distracted by the King that He takes up most of my headspace. And I wanted to share a testimony that happened to me 4 years ago. It changed my perspective entirely. And feel free, you guys, feel free to share this as you're watching it on your page, or invite people, anybody you know who needs an encouraging word. Tell them to tune in. So, you got my socks going on here. My feet are cold. About 4 years ago, I was going through a really difficult time, and I think my heart was really heavy, and it had been heavy for a long time. And there were things that I had been asking God for, seeking God's face for. I was needing huge breakthrough. There was just trial after trial, and you feel like you can feel like God owes you because you've dedicated your life to Him, right? And you're serving Him, and He doesn't owe us anything. But you can kind of feel in your spirit like, okay, God, you owe me this breakthrough. And breakthroughs are promised to sons and daughters anyways. It's not like He withholds His blessings from us, but He doesn't also owe us anything, And so I remember I was sitting on our huge rocking chair, and I opened up the Bible, flipped it up, as sometimes we do when we're really spiritual. We just randomly open up the Bible, and we expect that page is going to be preordained for us, right? But I opened it up to Job, and I was like, okay, God, I get it. You're trying to see how much I love you. I closed the book, closed the Bible, and I went to the balcony, and it was a warm summer's day, and I was just looking up at the stars, and I was just listening, and I was speaking. And I remember saying, okay, God, you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to risk being vulnerable with you and trusting you and putting my life in your hands. I just remember that word, me saying to the Lord, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. And I was expecting God to say, wow, that's what I want to hear. Like, good job. Way to trust me. And instead, He said, can I be vulnerable with you, Amy? I had never heard that before. That God would lean in to tell me something that was close to His heart. And He said, Amy, how you respond to this question impacts my heart significantly. And He said, do you love me? And I thought, yes, of course I love you. And He leaned in even closer, and He said, do you love me? Beyond what I do or do not do, when it's just me. Am I enough for you? And I realized that the God of the universe was waiting to be wanted. He sits and he waits for us to want him. We were made in the image of God, and so we experience the emotions of a lover. And in that moment, I stopped pretending that I was so holy and yay me for trusting God. And I just put out my arms and I said, yes, I love you. And it was this tender moment of a king and a daughter just sitting under the stars and embracing each other. And I made it my mission to love the Lord, to care for his heart, to be a friend to God. It's changed the way that I worship. It's changed the way that I wake up. Before I tell the Lord any needs I have, and he already knows, I wake up and I say, good morning, Papa. How are you doing? How can I love you today? How would I feel if Peter, my husband, only came to me when he needed something or when he was concerned? It would be a really unhealthy marriage if he didn't wake up and just say, I love you, baby. And so tonight, I know that so many of us are hurting and so many of us are afraid. And I promise you that when you just start to love on God, the reward is that you become like him, and you will receive the mind of Christ. You become like the people you are with. So when we love God, it really impacts every other part of our lives. I have less fear today in my life than I've ever had. And it's because I know the voice of my Father. And during these next couple songs, I'm going to be checking my phone to get on Facebook Live and see some of the comments. And if there's something that you would like to say to God tonight, I just want to encourage you to write that. I want people to see your love to God, that you would encourage them, give them language. There's so many people that don't even know how to articulate their affection for the Father. So if God's saying something to you and you want to respond, let's share that moment together. And hopefully if you guys participate, I can read some of the things that you are declaring. God, you are magnificent. God, you are provider. God, you are lovely. Whatever it is that God is to you in this moment, let's read them together at the end.
I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in